Facebook and Twitter. All right. So my name is Osvaldo Nunes. I'm the commanding officer of the 114th Precinct. Roosevelt Island is kind of like it's a bit of a weird geographically. You guys are covered by a Queens precinct, but for all intents and purposes, prosecution, zip code, you belong to Manhattan. But until they give the 19th precinct their own helicopter, I'm the one who covers you because I'm the only one with land access. So hopefully that clears everything up. So the reason I called this meeting originally was because I needed your help. There was a very high-profile shots fired job that we had here on Sunday, the 18th. It was early Sunday morning, and obviously very high-profile because shots went across the river and hit a luxury high-rise in Manhattan. Thankfully, no one was hit. There was a total of 3 apartments hit on 2 separate dates. The second date, I'll get into that. The second date, there was 2 apartments hit. The first date, there was 1 apartment hit. We've made an arrest. I chose not to cancel this meeting, even though we made an arrest, because I wanted to kind of switch it to informational, put everybody's fears at rest. And I also wanted to kind of introduce myself and also educate you about what you should do. Obviously, whenever someone sees their neighborhood on the news regarding some gunshots, it's going to be alarming. I just want to put everybody at ease. This is probably the safest part of the 114th precinct. It's really the quietest part of the 114th precinct. In all of 2018, or is it I have 2018. So up to date, year to date 2018, I only have 21 what we call 7 major crimes. Those are the 7 major crimes that we track. You know, robbery, rape, murder, burglary, grand larceny, auto, grand larceny. Those major crimes, there's only 21 for this entire island. That's a very, very low number. That's, for example, for now, we're up to over about 13 or 14, we're closing in on 1,000 of those type of crimes for the whole precinct. So out of 1,000 of those crimes, you have about 21 of those 7 major index crimes. So very, very safe here. So I want to put everybody's fears at rest. The individual was arrested. He was arraigned in Manhattan court. Bail was set. He is out. All right. He lives on this island. All right. I don't think we'll have any more problems from him. All right. He does have an extensive arrest history. I think 17 priors. He's got 17 priors. Some of them are violent robberies and such. He does belong to a crew. A crew is interchangeable with a gang. I refer to them as crews because gangs are a little bit bigger. They're like the umbrella gangs, like Bloods, Crips, Latin Kings. So crews are usually more local. They'll cover like a couple of blocks. There is one crew that we track on this island, but is largely inactive. I have a total of about 15 or 16 crews for the entire precinct. And there's one that's on this island, but again, pretty much inactive. All right. A lot of the other crews are constantly getting into violent altercations. The crew that resides on this island, very, very inactive. All right. But he is a member of that crew that we track. Okay. Again, happened across 2 dates. Friday the 17th, Friday morning. That time we did not receive a 911 call. The only from River Road or from Roosevelt Island. The only 911 call that came for the Friday morning shots fired was actually Saturday morning. Yes, it was Friday morning. The only 911 call that we received was from when the person across the river woke up and found shattered glass on the floor. He called 911, but we did not receive a 911 call from anyone on Roosevelt Island for the shots fired. Don't know why. Following day, early Saturday morning at about 01:18, we do get a 911 call from Roosevelt Island. That's when 2 apartments get hit. And that's the one where we get the video from. Some of you may have seen the video online. So For the first incident, the day before, on Friday morning, no 911 call from Roosevelt Island. The next morning, someone hears multiple shots and calls from 30 River Road. They call 911. Right. So, it took a lot of investigation. We did a social media workup. We ended up arresting him. The video helped a lot also. What I need you to do, and what you can do, obviously fighting crime is a partnership. Each police officer is here 8 hours a day. You people live here, so you see a lot more than we do, and you hear a lot more than we do. Don't be afraid to call 911 if you think you heard shots. Maybe fireworks, maybe not, but give us a chance to investigate it. Let us come here and determine that it's not a shots fired job. I'm not saying that if someone had called Friday morning, we would have gotten this guy, but I'd rather know about it earlier than later. The best thing you could do when you're not sure is call 911, and if you see someone that you suspect may be up to no good, the way you can help us out, first call 911 if you think they're committing a crime, or to save a life. You hear that a lot, but if you think they're committing a crime, and also try to give the 911 operator a description. That's key. Even if it's general, try to get, but if you could get very detailed, that helps us. Because first of all, it gives us the legal authority to stop this person. It gives us, it kind of starts us at a higher level of suspicion. If you give us a very detailed description, if he's got a pink bandana hanging out of his left pocket and you tell us that, that's going to help us a lot when it comes to stopping. Also, it stops us from kind of stopping someone who's not involved. All right, so just make sure when you call 911, try to give us something additional. If you got a description, if you got a direction of flight, anything like that. If you're very in tune with what's going on, and you know that there's a pattern of burglaries or robberies in the area, you should tell the 911 operator that also. The last significant incident that we had here was late last year. We had a pattern of burglaries. And we arrested, again, someone who lives on this island, and he's also part of that crew. And he was already on parole for burglary. This guy was stupid enough to, luckily for us, to start burglarizing his own neighbors. Unfortunately for him, he broke into 2 out of the 3 apartments he broke into. Someone was home. He thought no one was home, but he broke in, and one of our victims actually said, we recorded on a complaint report saying, I think he lives in this building or lives on the island. So you don't got to worry about that guy. He got 14 years, so he won't be around for a while. That's literally, and that was late 2017. We're almost coming up on a year now. That is the last significant crime issue I had here. Not much going on Roosevelt Island, so just trying to keep everybody's fears down. It's probably one of the safest parts of the precinct. I want to talk to you about some things that we do for that you may not be aware of. If you want, every precinct has crime prevention officers. There's one. I brought my crime prevention officer. He's here. If you own a business or you live here on Roosevelt Island, and you want your apartment or your business kind of surveyed for any kind of weaknesses that may result in you becoming a victim of a crime, he'll actually come out to your apartment or your place of business, and he'll do a crime prevention survey and make recommendations on locks, alarm systems, where your weaknesses are. So that's available for all of you. Also, you have neighborhood coordination officers that cover this island. This island falls, the precinct is divided, every precinct in New York City is divided into sectors. The 114 precinct is divided into 4 sectors. A, B, C, D, or we call them Adam, Boyd, Charlie, David. This is located in Sector David. So you have 2 NCOs. They're not here today, but I do have the steady sector. The sector cars are the ones that are running around responding to 911 calls. And again, those are also dedicated to that sector. There's 2 officers in the back here that are assigned to that steady sector. And so if you have any quality of life complaints, your neighbor's making too much noise, long-term chronic issues that you wouldn't call 911 for, but you want settled, you can look up your NCOs on the website. You can actually go on a 114 Precinct Facebook website. It'll identify your NCOs, the ones who cover this area, Officer Mathis and Officer Esposito. Officer Mathis has actually very intimate knowledge of this because before the command became an NCO command, he actually had Roosevelt Island as a steady post. Many of you might even know him. So that's what you should do when you have like a long-term chronic problem. They're literally liaisons from my liaisons from the precinct to the community. These NCOs, and they're kind of general contractors. They're there to solve everything from crime down to quality of life complaints. You got an ongoing dispute with your neighbor regarding noise or smoking marijuana is always a popular one. We get a lot of complaints about that. Or it could be something that's mundane as traffic. Might not get that here, but that's what you would go to your NCO for. All right, he's kind of like our liaison. So with that, I'll take any questions if you guys have.